Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Untitled and Unfocused. I am Tyler. That is Rayman. How we doing today, Raymond?
I think we're doing fine. Are we doing good?
Yeah, good day. So we got some shows as always. Episode 7 of everything. I thought for the most part these were pretty good. I think there's a lot of advancing the story. Not so much like backstory or stuff like that. Are you remembering what shows we did?
No, I'm looking at what your notes just to kind of remember because it's
Gotcha.
all right. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah. No, these were good episodes. I like them. These were pretty impactful to say the most.
Well, we're in that like back half. Well, I guess not for. I guess only a few of them, because there's a few that are longer than one season. But
But let's think about it. Okay, so like further in the universe, Iron-Blooded Orphans, Rakugo, even Nomad. I think it's all like technically they all go into like 12, even though like some of those do have double seasons after that. Was Summertime 12 or 24?
that's 24.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. So speaking of which, place further in the universe, episode 7. They're finally on the ship. Finally happened. Halfway through, we're here.
We haven't left yet.
We haven't left. We're close. Next episode for sure will be us leaving. Yeah. I like them getting on the ship. I like the like impending doom that they kind of had this episode where they were really excited at the beginning, and then some stuff started to come out, like them like vibing off of the other crewmates, and they're
They
like,
felt the bad vibes.
yeah, like what's going on here? And it's like, oh, you realize that, oh, this is a purely like civilian trip, so they don't have nearly as many people as they usually do. Even like when they went to go get food, the like store guy was like, oh yeah, this is nothing. We usually come in, people with expeditions usually come in with crates of stuff. They usually get like a lot more than what you're getting. And so just like there's a lot of little things that place doubt on our main crew's minds.
They learned that this is the second time they're doing this expedition, and the first time did not go as planned.
Right. Yeah. Which is kind of why though this whole second trip is happening. I like that they made a point to be like, yeah, everyone that was on that first trip signed up for the second trip. Like their lives are different. Some of them may not even like fully want to be here, but they're all determined. Yeah, they're all here. They're ready to go.
That was a bit funny as well in that scene where there was like, no one got married. It's all like everyone got divorced, everyone got bald, everyone's older.
Yeah.
It's like all kind of like, it's like negative, like it's like connotative. It's like
They were just looking around like, what is this? This is the opposite of a
like,
pep talk.
we all actually became big losers over the past 3 years. Sorry to break it to you.
Right. They even focused on that one girl that we assume was calling like her boyfriend or her husband or something, and was like, no. I think she said, I think she even said like, I don't even really want to go. She was like crying, but again, like that just shows that they're all here. They're ready to give it up because, most likely because of what happened with Shrassi's mom and all that.
We don't even know if she's dead. It's looking like she's dead. Or she's missing.
Yeah, they're definitely, I feel like, insinuating that she's dead. She might not be. She might be missing, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like the last place you'd want to go missing is Antarctica.
And like going to die.
Yeah. Like I don't imagine she's like. I would be shocked if episode 10 or something, she's like in an igloo, just like chilling, Like she's probably dead, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel like the way that the one lady was talking, she was like, "Oh, I want to, I want to go see the sky." I feel like that's their kind of setup for this trip being more in memoriam of her and saying like we have to do this trip for her.
Yeah, they're like inheriting her wish.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Just like her daughter is, which brings me to another favorite scene of mine. It's like the last one where they're all introducing themselves, and it goes great, right? They all introduce themselves as you would, and then Shirase does, and she's super nervous, which I feel like was kind of set up throughout the episode with her doing her fake, like news reporter stuff. But then this
Mm-hmm.
one kind of pushes her over the edge, and she gives a very kind of erratic, but super passionate like speech about why she's here and her mom, and like the whole crowd gets pumped up and everything. I thought that was a really nice way to end the episode. Just again show how much hard work everyone's putting in. Um, and it's not all just like doom and gloom.
Once again, showing that Hinata is the anchor and the straight man for the group.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, what are you doing? This is your moment. You gotta, you
Pushes
are
her
the
up,
most.
and it's like
Yeah, she's the most.
she's the straight man for the group, the level-headed one.
Yeah,
Well, she's also like kind of like already knows what she wants. The other ones are still younger than her. Well, they're all like about the same age except for Yuzuki, right?
Yuzuki.
But she's already done high school. She's like, I just need to do this so I can go do college later.
Mm.
She's already got it all planned out.
Right. Yeah, and another example of that is when they were being ninjas and trying to gather information. They were all like being sneaky, like comically sneaky, and she was just in the back with her like with her arms up, and she's like, "This is stupid. Why are
Yeah,
we doing this?"
she's just going for the vibe.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I'm just really excited for them to leave. Be nice to for them to finally get there. Um. What kind of trouble they're gonna run into with like the ship. Because we do know they have some training, but they're obviously the most like passenger type people on the whole ship. Yeah.
That's good. And I do like that they also want to set up like the observatory there, even if it's just like a civilian one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so then other people can come down and use it. It doesn't have to be just again like the idea of them mirroring what the Japan camp is doing, to be like, hey, you can kind of get a smaller experience of what that would be like here,
Right.
and anyone can.
Yeah. No. That's yeah. Yeah. That's great. I mean, again, that kind of goes in line with just the trip in general, right? Is that they're like, well, we're not like an official thing. We're just a bunch of regular people trying to go to Antarctica. So for them doing that, it's like, hey, other people can come here and have a good time, and we're trying to make it possible. So, yeah. Next episode should be good. See them on the ship doing stuff, probably getting some more hijinks. Because none of them apparently know their way around the ship. They have no idea where they're
They
going.
repeated the same gag, and I loved it the second time even more.
It was still funny.
It was still funny. It was
Yeah.
just it was still good. Yeah, I like it. It's and again, they're not afraid to show like, hey, there's like problems. Again, I like it. Like they're like expanding. The girls are kind of past what their problems are right now.
Mm-hmm.
They may come back again in the future, but for like right now, they're like, okay, let's get going.
Right.
They want to see them get to Antarctica. Then there's gonna be other problems from there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Them all mixing together. Yeah. Next we have Mobile Suit Gundam, IBO episode 7. This was another big space battle. Kind of got cut short for like story reasons, right? But still cool. Still really fun to watch. um, them going against, what was it? Was it Turban, right? Kind of fighting them.
I'm just looking at your notes right now.
Yeah. Why? What's it?
It's like because like I can tell like you're watching this dub, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Why?
I'm
Oh.
watching this sub.
Oh, I like spelled like Turban wrong or something. Is that what happened?
Dude. Turban is so stupid. It's literally just turbine or turban.
Oh, Turban. Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's such a
Yeah,
stupid.
there's no way I would know that.
Like the way you had it was how I thought it was before they actually showed what their name was.
Gotcha.
I legit thought it was that. That's why I'm looking at it. Like you somehow knew that's what I was thinking every time they brought it up. Turban? I was like, they just put turbine? That's such a lame name. That's what I'm thinking the entire time.
Stupid.
Like if they had what you put there, that's so much better. I'm like, oh yeah, turban, yeah.
So for everyone that can't see my notes, which is everyone but Ray, I spelled it Terbin,
So
which is I feel like phonetically correct.
It looks nicer.
Yeah.
Than turbine.
It looks more like a proper noun rather than just an object, you know.
No, this episode was great. You're right.
Yeah. Some highlights for me. I like them in the beginning kind of negotiating, and again we see that theme of like them getting treated as kids because they are, but other adults trying to take advantage of them and then being like, no, like you have your morals, that's fine, but we have ours, and we're not just gonna get sucked up into your business. And then the dude was like, oh, but you have a lot of people, so we might split you up. And they're just like, no, we're not. Why would we do that? Everything we've done so far, why would we?
I do like that they were like, if you let us get to Earth and do this, we'll happily join you and split up if that's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, because they're all about their mission, right? Like even Biscuit was like, we can come to some agreement, we can do that, and they're like, why would I listen to some spoiled kids? It's like, all right, man, why?
Listen,
why do we even
Biscuit's
have this?
Big.
What happened?
Biscuit once again showing like how good he is.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good idea, right? Like, you know, like you said, they have their mission. That's
a delicious name. Oh man, that was good. Someone had to call him out.
Yeah, I think it was the
like,
woman that was that got in the mobile suit afterwards.
Yeah.
So. And then they have their fight, right? I like Mikazuki and the girl fighting, because it seemed like they were both getting like really into it. They were like a good match for each other.
Like you're saying this, okay? I'm not gonna lie. Like there was some big sexual tension happening there. Because at least in the sub, I don't know what's happening here. Because the girl was like, "We're approaching I'm approaching my climax" at one point.
Yeah. I can't remember exact quotes, but yeah, she especially was the one.
She was getting into it in the fight. Like she was really, and then the way like Mikazuchi's like they're kind of like on there. That's like what you see in like anime, like well, not this, like other anime, and then they started like making out ferociously. Except she's not like that. Probably she just like is like a battle fiend.
Well, she's definitely like the fan service character, because even in the beginning, when we were introduced to her character, but she was definitely introduced as like, okay, we have a character like this now, which we haven't. I mean, because the show isn't really that kind of show.
Tarantino was taking notes as he saw this episode come out.
He gets interviewed. He's like, "What is Tarantino? Do you watch anime? Oh boy, do I!" Here's my favorite.
Every anime just has bare feet.
Yeah.
One close up of feet in every anime. That's the rule. Okay. No, so like the fight was good.
Yeah.
They had the smoke screen tactic. They had the missile specifically blow up and then go past them to try to gain extra momentum in the fight.
Were you like, were you on the edge of your seat? Because I was like, they're really gonna ram them. Like they just don't care.
They just turn like slightly just to dodge them like that.
I was like, and then it cuts to.
I thought they were gonna ram too, but it's like.
Yeah, because I was like, they're going for it.
They're savages. I mean, of course.
And then it cuts to
There's a
the like leader's face, and he's just like shocked. He's like bewildered. He's like, they really just did that to us. It's great.
he's a good character. You can at least him, and then the other girl who's in the mech, who's with him all the time.
Yep.
They're both in the opening, so we kind of already knew they're important characters going into it. So seeing how they are, it's pretty good. And another fun thing I like to notice in this episode is that we don't see Orga for most of it in the back half.
That's true. Yeah, we pretty much just see him in the beginning when he's like negotiating or whatever.
He leaves the commander chair, relinquishes that, and then we never see him for the rest of the episode.
Until the very end where he's like, all right, guys, chill out. We've come to an agreement. And we don't know what that is because they didn't tell us.
I want to assume that Orga did something during the smoke screen. He may have boarded them.
Which makes sense because doesn't like Turbin's ship, there's like there's like a message that's like, we've been boarded or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they say the word boarded.
I think. Mm-hmm.
I don't know when, and I don't know what they were talking about specifically. Maybe they were just talking about like their other ship that was coming towards them or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. But that would make sense that he's like doing some sneaky stuff, right?
Yeah, we also have Turbin. He's fighting with Maruba as well. He's like, you made them do the Lana system surgery. Mm-hmm. So he's already kind of upset with Maruba, but he doesn't like him already. He's thinking about it in his head. So the pieces are being put together. I think it may be clear that going forward, hopefully next episode we'll see Turbin working with Tekadon, at least to the voyage to Earth.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would make sense, right? Like, it seems like they're good. They do. I mean, we talked about it, I think, last episode too. They definitely need to align themselves with somebody. They can't make it all the way to Earth.
They can't pick the Galactic Federation. That's gone.
Yeah, right. So
it's the Mafia. It is Space Mafia.
The lesser of two evils. Yeah.
So, I think I'm excited to see what Orga was doing in the back half. If they can show that next episode, that'd be kind of interesting.
I think they would have to.
Obviously, maybe they're not going to show the full thing, but they're going to show like the small piece that actually happened. That's important. It's like he was prepping all for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just like how they used the smoke screen with the ship, he himself was using a very similar tactic of like, pay attention to the fighting. I'm going to be over here actually getting stuff done because you guys aren't even going to be paying attention to me. Also, like, small moment, but it was with the girl, don't know her name, and then Cordelia, the like potatoes flying everywhere. Thought that was funny.
Yeah. Especially when they like started to fight, the potatoes just came up, and she's like, "No, give me a couple minutes. I'm trying to cook.
Yeah,
I gotta put the pot away."
They gave no time. It was like the sirens blaring. It's like, all right, battle stations, and the potatoes are flying everywhere. And she's like, no.
I love that they use the potatoes to weigh down the helmets.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're just not gonna wear the helmet. We're just gonna carry the potatoes in them.
Yeah, and we need it. Potatoes very important. Very important for food.
Also, Cordelia has really long hair. I did not realize how long the hair was until we saw that. I was like, that hair is gigantic.
Yeah, ridiculous. Very.
Some Rapunzel level hair.
Yeah, very anime. All the way down to like her ankles. It's like, this is. What do you think about that? Where it's like, how do you? I can imagine having hair that long. That'd be heavy, right?
Times. It would be heavy.
Yeah.
You have like insane neck strength.
It's super thick
like a one-piece level neck strength.
Yeah. It's like, I only do neck day because I have to.
Every day is neck day. When I wake up, it simply becomes that.
I actually invented that day. It's all because of me.
It's good.
Next we got Summertime Rendering, episode 7. This one was cool. I feel like this one, episode. Great episode. I feel like this is, like, on the surface, I feel like Megalobox is my favorite, But just below the surface, I feel like summertime rendering is right there.
The thing is, like, it's summertime as well, because it's gonna have a longer runtime. We may end up liking it more as it goes on. Megalobox, we can feed off like at least season 1, and with Nomad, it looks like it's going good.
Very good trajectory, yeah.
If summertime rendering keeps up, dude, it could be one of the ones that we can put on the nice like Rayman approved list.
Ooh,
Seal
okay.
of approval.
Yeah, seal of approval. Okay. Okay.
Bring it back. It's been a while. I haven't given out seals recently.
I feel like this episode explains a lot about Hizuru's character. You know, because she's kind of weird. She's kind of done some weird stuff in the first 6 episodes. And so them being like... I still don't fully understand it, because to me, it seems like kind of like a split personality thing. But then like the old man was like, well, it's not exactly what it is. So like...
She basically manifested her own brother as another personality for herself. So it's not even split. She's like hitting like it's a partially split, but it's also like schizophrenia to some point or some degree.
Or like multiple personality disorder?
Yeah.
Like that.
Like she's manifested her brother into her. I mean, there's other ones, like other stuff that's done that, obviously, you know, like Point A classic, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I forget which one that's like the Bates Hotel. What's the one with that? Bates Motel.
Is that... No, never mind. I don't know.
I forget what the actual one's called. Because like it's a movie or whatever. Not the Bates Motel, but like that's like the guy who's there. Like he basically, his mother died, and he's like, he has his mother as another personality in him. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Fight Club.
It's been done before. What?
Fight Club.
Fight Club also does it.
Yeah.
You know, it's been done, but it's an interesting way they've done it here. So like the brother died, he was strangled by a shadow.
Yep.
Not like it's weird. So the shadow strangled them. They're not trying to copy them. They're trying just to kill them straight up.
Right. Which I think makes sense with her character, especially because she has way too much knowledge on how shadows work. It's like, you just deserve to die in our eyes. we don't need to copy you. We don't need that. We just want you gone. You are a thorn in our side.
So the brother also was strangled.
Right.
We don't even know what the brother did.
That's true.
She doesn't even know what the brother did. So, or maybe she learned later, but it hasn't said anything about it.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have any idea.
Right.
So like she developed that as a personality, and in the end, she like just kind of punched herself in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think is I think that is cool with the whole like multiple personality thing, whatever, where it's not like, you know, because I feel like other stories have done it where the two kind of switch between each other and they don't really have like memories of the other one. Whereas with this, it's more so on the side of it's just almost like both of them are present at the same time. You know, for her to be able to like hit the brother because of what the brother just said, because you know, I'm pretty sure the brother was like, oh, she's scared of whatever. You know, talk about like Shinpei being a fan and all that stuff. And she's like, oh, I'm not scared of anything. We better get that straight. And kind of explaining the...
It's like they do have like the memories locked up just a little bit though. Like I guess like she kind of split it in a way where like Ryunosuke is like specifically targeted for killing and identifying shadows. Like in like split seconds, he's kind of cracked.
Yeah.
And Hizuru is like more analytical about it, and she'll play like her slow game and plan stuff out accordingly.
I don't know if they even mentioned this, but if not, do you think that they like before the incident with like the shadows and stuff, do you think they were already like researching shadows and like learning about them, and like maybe they were partners or something, which is why they know so much about this? Or do you think they came into that later?
I don't know, man. It's kind of tough to say right now.
Yeah.
One of the things that never answered. The old man's also a character.
What do you mean?
Oh, the old man.
What about him?
He's just another character, you know. He's like, you know, he's got his own thing going on.
Sure.
He's dropping his own little knowledge bombs.
Yeah. I
He's
mean,
like, he can't shoot a nail gun for his life.
well, I mean, you know, he missed the physical, but he hit the shadow, right?
Only after a tackle to the ground.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's a good point there. That's a good point. One thing I didn't understand, and I felt like they explained it in a much more like complicated way, was when he did the nail gun. He was like, "Oh yeah, gotta hit him, gotta nail him down with 3 points of contact, so that they can't get away." And in my mind, I was like, "Okay, he has the leg. Now he has to do 2 other limbs." But I guess that's not true. I guess just 3 nails is fine. Because in my mind, 3 points of contact was like leg, arm, leg, or something, not just
Okay,
3
no, I get what
nails
you're
in the
saying.
leg.
That you're like, yeah, they gotta hit different points.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I just gotta hit him.
It's like, oh, okay. That was also a really good scene too, with the Shadow Girl and Shinpei kind of talking back and forth to each other about like, did you kill Ushio? And she's like, ha ha ha.
He's like, I'm evil.
I'm evil.
Yeah, I did it. What are you gonna do about it?
Who's to say? Who's to say who killed him? I do like more like the mystery coming up about what their goals are, because Shinpei almost acting like the audience, being like, why are you here? You just come here and kill people? That's it? That's your goal? And then she
want to
kind of,
revive Mother. He kind of forgot that one already.
what?
Well, it's more about the mother, right?
Oh, about like the like Mother of Shadows? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I feel like in universe, there's a lot going on. You know?
There's a lot going on. I can understand why it would be something to avoid. Like, he's a bit flustered. He's got the emotions up in him.
Well,
he wants to find out what happened to Ushio.
He didn't see the mother though.
No, it was only mentioned. No one saw the mother.
Okay.
Everything's just being talked about.
Gotcha.
Nothing here is actually. It's all riddles, basically. We're the ones making notes.
That's true.
He doesn't have any notes he's keeping. He's just trying to keep everything in his head because you can't really make notes.
That's what he does. She did say something about there being a timeline of the summertime rendering, which is also interesting because are we gonna get out? Okay, you know, because we talk about the whole like time loop thing, right? Do we know how much time is left in the summer? Is there like a lot of time? Is it like June, or is it like August?
We can go back and see like when the first episode was, and I think it has a date.
It probably does.
On the first episode, I think they dropped the date. Like it starts on.
Because
this is still the first or second day, right? This is the first day. We still. This is just the night, the first day.
Okay. Because I mean, at that point, they have all summer, which is a lot of time. Versus like if it was like August 4th, it's like, oh man, we got a few weeks till summer's over, you know? And then something big is happening. She doesn't say what it is, but she's like, what did you say? We're all the whole family's coming home. That doesn't sound good. That sounds bad.
Well, I think it's a bad idea.
Where's home? And they kill her, which is great. She was annoying. And then at the very end, they hit us with the cliffhanger. Ushio was there. And in this timeline, this is the first time they're seeing Ushio, right? Because this is separate from when they saw at the festival. Yeah. So there's more questions there, right? About like how she found him and because there's no previous timeline where she did that. But then even Shinpei in this scene talking to himself about how like certain things in the timeline are changing. You know, how like Mio didn't cook in any previous timeline, so maybe that's a thing.
Yeah,
too.
he was wondering whether it was a shadow. He's like, Mio doesn't cook.
But, doesn't cook.
What have they done?
And the worst of it all, Mio's
It's
cooking
bad.
now.
I gotta fix this timeline.
We gotta go back.
Gotta change something real quick.
But I mean, they totally bait us in that scene though, because it opens up. It's like dark. She's got a knife, got like a weird expression on her face. You know. It's like, okay, all right, we see what's going on here. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that one. Like you said, you know, with this being a longer series, there's a lot more like, you know, a lot more to be put in to all these episodes. You know, a lot more we're gonna see with like, you know, there's like a lot more time to develop the story, I guess. So.
And like, especially with the way it's kind of set up, we can explore a lot of different characters too. Like this loop could just be the Hazuru loop.
That's true. Yeah, it could be different ones. Because yeah, I mean, there's like a whole history, right? And even the shadows are taking over other people. So there's a lot of possibilities there.
Like they're setting ground rules for shadows, even though we don't know how true they could be.
Sure. Yeah. It's like ground rules, but in the eyes of Hizuru, because she's kind of the most like experienced, I guess.
Like let's break this down, right? So like shadows don't like when you step on their shadow. Can they survive a shadow being stepped on? I assume so, because like it takes the mallet to kill them with like a heavy blow.
Yeah.
Or like a chance to stab into them, right? Where the shadow is. So maybe there's a shadow that can just like live by being stepped on. It doesn't like it, obviously, but it takes the pain, holds on to it, you know, and doesn't really give itself away. Like the long con type of shadow.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like they just avoid it just simply because the shadow is their actual body, right? Like, I mean, you wouldn't want someone to step on your foot. You'd probably just instinctively move your foot if someone were just about to step on it. I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's like a legitimate. Well, they're kind of integrating themselves into society a little bit, right? It's like a long con thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one just kind of lurking. That didn't act like a normal shadow.
What? Say that again?
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one that wasn't acting like a normal shadow. How you'd expect them to act.
Like Ushio?
Yeah, well, not like Ushio. Ushio's like pretty much the same.
Yeah. Basically not a shadow.
Pretty much not a shadow.
Yeah.
It's just Ushio, actually. That's my mistake. It's literally just Ushio.
Okay. And next we have Nana, episode 7.
The Nanas are back.
They're meeting. It's like
you thought this was the recap episode at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, some stuff was recapped, and I was like, all right. It's good.
We got half an episode. It's okay, let's be honest, but we got half an episode.
Yeah, and I mean, that stuff was still important, right? I mean, we still kind of needed the lead in and all that. We got a little, some more details here and there. Yeah, I like how concerned all of her friends were, because I feel like in real life that's how you would probably be too, right? Like, you're just moving in with someone random. It's like a whole different city. You literally don't know this person. You know, it's not a situation where people put up an ad. You know how like college kids will be like,
Mhm.
we're roommates. We're trying to rent out a house. We need a bunch of roommates. Very different than that.
Like
You know?
even for work, I know some people were like renting together
Sure.
because it's cheaper than just like finding a house or a place by yourself. They're like, yeah, we can split this.
But then with this, it's like you met this girl once on a train for like a couple hours.
To be fair though, like one of them did talk for those couple hours
Right.
quite a
One.
bit.
Okay. So that other girl knows everything about you, and you know nothing about her. It's even
So the fact that
worse.
she still said yes, so she's basically saying, "Hey, you're cool."
You're cool.
It's like you're not that bad. I'm like, you're fine. You're okay. You sounded like you were good. So one person's opinion is already set as in a normal light. So this just leaves the other Nana to be like head empty.
I can't wait until this show turns into like a mystery thriller, where the one Nana murders the other one.
That's what they said was gonna happen. Are you spoiling it?
Um, and they kind of set this up very obviously, you know, but I still like it where, you know, they are very different. But then when all the friends come in, you see how similar they are, where it's like
Mhm.
Junko treats her Nana the same way that dude treats his Nana. Like,
Mhm.
they're both idiots and they're both like impulsive, and they're they're just dumb. You know, it's like,
It's like call the guy for the gas. He's gonna get it set up. It's like, oh, we should have some tea. It's like stove can't go on if you don't get gas. You gotta call the gas guy.
why don't you call the gas guy? He's like, okay, I guess I'll call.
It's just like gas guy's coming tomorrow. Be there for him. No gas.
So stupid.
He handed out the business card. Like we know he's a lawyer.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
yeah. Character shock happened. They're like, this guy's a lawyer? Insane.
Mm.
Wild. Shenanigans. They both make them bow down and like the art style changes. They're like, yeah, take care of these two. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for Nana, and he's like, I'm also very sorry for Nana.
The boyfriend is freaking out. He's like, I can't stand hearing two Nanas. He's hearing Nana too much. He just can't
Breaking
handle
his
it.
brain. Shoji, the boyfriend, he also he sent the like text message to Junko instead of Nana, so that kind of caused a lot more confusion. Where like Nana for the first third of the episode was freaking out, going to her crazy conclusions, right? Of like he's cheating on her, and he's just like, no, what do you mean? I told you I was gonna be late.
It's like she came up with the name for him, and then the name was like Happy Child when it was translated.
Yeah.
And she's like, does that mean I'm not happy?
It's like you are making all this up. It's like you probably didn't watch it, but I assume you saw the memes from the Michael Jordan documentary. Do you know what I'm talking about at all? The thing that happened like a year ago.
What's the meme? I think I know.
Okay, well, probably the most popular meme is, so I took that personally.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So, one of the things that came out of that doc was, he would make things up to like to like make him a better player. So like for the longest time we thought, like fans or whatever thought that during this one game on an opposing team of his, one of the one of the other team players or whatever was like talking trash or like saying some very specific stuff about Michael Jordan, until Michael Jordan was like, well, that makes me mad, and then it like fueled his anger and like made him a better player that game and made him win the game or whatever, right? And then in the doc, it came out that he just made that up. Like he told himself that that dude was trash talking him. So like he like incepted himself to make him a better player. And it was like
Most highly functional cognitive basketball player.
it's like this man is psychotic. and so yeah, that was like a big thing because like that I forget the player, but like that instance in particular is like pretty famous in like his history or whatever. And for it to come out and then even that guy, I think they like got that guy on the dock and he was like, yeah, I never said that. I never said that to him. and then it cuts to MJ and he's like, yeah, so here's what happened. And but yeah, so the reason I bring that up is because that's very similar to Nana in this situation where she's just making all this stuff up and she brings it up multiple times and then even Shoji is like, who is this person? Who is this person you keep bringing up? I don't know a person with this name. And again,
It was like Shiroko or whatever.
Yeah, Shiroko or something like that. I don't know.
It was a wonderful grab.
Yeah.
Then he sent the text to Junko, and then she looks at it and she's just like, this is what I gotta see.
Yeah. So, they didn't translate that. What did the text say? Did it say something special at the end?
He said, we're gonna have lots of sex when I come home.
Is that really what it said, or are you
something along those lines?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which actually,
so Junko reading it, she's like,
yeah, which does make sense because she did have that expression. She was like, ah, and then she said something. I don't remember, but yeah, that does make sense actually.
Yeah. Cause he's like, I'm late. I'm working at the office. We're gonna have lots of sex when I come home. And then so she sees the message and she's like, she knows this ain't for her, and she's like, I don't need to see this. I didn't want to know.
I want to die now.
She's like, I already saw her earlier today. I didn't need this image in my head.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like the characters in the show. I think they're all very distinct, but like they're all very supportive of each other.
And they're normal human beings.
Yeah. They're not like super caricatures. I mean, they have their like anime moments, I guess, but for the most part, they're all like grounded.
Yeah.
That's good.
The praise for Nana coming in.
I'm excited for next episode though. I feel like this episode was like the big transition, right? And I feel like hopefully next episode is when it starts more of like the real adventures of the two Nanas living together and all that stuff.
Did she call her a vendor when she pulled out the her suitcase and it was just all clothes?
Oh yeah.
So you peddling these?
Yeah. Because she's like, well, that's a lot of clothes.
And then I love the way that she had like a little scarf wrapped around her head. She just kept it on the entire like day for that episode. I was like, that's just gonna be her look for this episode. That's fine by me. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's full commit. I thought she would have took it off when she went inside, but no, she just commits to it. I'm like, all right, I thought that was just what you wear because it's cold out.
It's not what I got. Yeah, and then even the one Nana was like, yeah, she like only has her leather jacket. It's like, wow, you two are very different from each other.
It's like, I only have the leather jacket because I try to look hard.
Yeah. She gotta look cool.
Same feeling though. Speaking of looking cool, you gotta look cool for Rakugo at a fabric store.
Dude.
Picking up your quality fabrics.
Yeah, there's a lot of fabric there.
Quite a bit.
A lot of good stuff. I don't understand why he just doesn't want a new thing. New clothes. Like, come on, just get new clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You're always rocking the like black. Try a different color. Why not? There's people out here saying that you look homeless. I don't feel like
we
that.
know who it is. You know who's
What?
saying those things.
Okay, well we know who it is, but you can't prove it.
I
Everyone's
love
saying it.
it's so good though. Like it opens up, they go to like the public bath, trash talk the one teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Then he looks back and he sees the teacher and he's like, I gotta go. I can't be here right now.
Oh, you know what? I'm actually over my hangover, so I'm just gonna meet you later.
I gotta bounce. Get it later.
And then their master is like, he like, talks to Bon, and he's like, "Why don't you take a nice long bath?"
I got some things to tell you about real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's not only Shin that's getting in trouble for like bailing and like not.
So
Know,
he's covering, so it's like
yeah, he's covering for him. Yeah. I really like how Bon gets picked for the tour and not Shin. I feel like that's a very important moment in their relationship. Because obviously, up until this point, especially from Bon's perspective, Shin has always been better. He's always been better at the performances, all that stuff. And so for Bon to get picked for this is like, oh, he's good. You know, and he's actually getting better, where I feel like Shin, it's very classic. If you ever watch Naruto, right? You know how Naruto and Sasuke, right? They had their little rivalry in the beginning, right? And Sasuke was always better because he just had like pure talent. He just kind of came out and was like killing it, right? But then eventually,
the water tanks was like the best moment.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I feel like that is very similar to this episode, where it's like, oh, you can't just ride on talent anymore. You actually have to work hard. And I mean, he did work hard. We saw some backstory of him, but still, like, he's Uchiha, he has all that stuff, right? So stuff like that. That's very similar to Bon and Shin, where Shin just has this natural charisma. That's kind of gotten him up until this point, but Bon had none of that. Doesn't have a lot of knowledge just with people and like social stuff in general. He's climbing up the ladder.
Bon still is acting under his master. He still hasn't, like, Shin at least has that independence, or where he can at least be like, this is what I want to perform. Bon is still asking, he's like, what should I perform next? But the master doesn't want to see that. He kind of brushes that question to the side. He needs to realize now that he's on the same level. I don't know if it's hit him yet in this episode or not. And Shin even brings it up to him where he's like, we can go on a tour together and kind of just like own it, the two of us. And then he actually gets doubly excited when he hears that he's going on a tour with Master. He's like, when you come back, you can be even more popular and we'll sell this show like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, which one I think is true. I think them together would be a very interesting dynamic. Yeah, even to your point about him not knowing, it's like, yeah, I mean, when the master was like, I want you to come with me, and he was like, you want me and not Shin? It's like, yes, dude, I want, like, are you not able to step outside yourself and at least see that you're not garbage at this? Like, you are good.
It's a couple weeks that passed, dude. You're big now.
Yeah, you're big time. You're what we call the Japanese Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Big time.
Okay.
We don't talk about the Scientology stuff, but other than that, big time. Tom Cruise saved the movie theaters.
I'll be really good. Tom Cruise, even if he's a Scientologist, he may be one of the most weirdly charismatic people of all time, because every time I'm still down to watch a Tom Cruise movie. He just knows how to act.
That's true. Yeah.
It doesn't come out in his movies at all. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like even in interviews, he stays pretty he keeps it to the side, doesn't talk about it. Really, it's not something that you know when you see him like, oh yeah, he's in Scientology, but you're not like, wow. When you see him act, you're like, man, that's Tom Cruise. You're not thinking, yeah, he's the famous Scientologist. You're like, he's doing his thing, jumping out of planes, or like running along a airplane runway, or he's on this train that's gonna crash. I get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I gotcha. How many Mission Impossible movies have you seen?
All of them,
Are you
except
serious?
for the new one. I haven't seen the new one yet.
I'd love to see the new one. Looks great. One thing I don't understand about that is that so it's Dead Reckoning Part 1. We're assuming there's a Part 2, maybe a Part
Mhm.
3. Maybe he goes crazy. Maybe he goes Vin Diesel on us and he pulls a three-parter. I don't know. But then he was in an interview recently and he was like, "I want to keep making these movies until I die," and it's like, but you've never done like a Part 1, Part 2 of a movie. Usually that means the end, right? Like, I feel like Harry Potter was like the first one to do it, where it's like, ooh, Deathly Hallows, Part 1, Part 2, because it's the end. So for him to be like, till I die, it's like, so there's gonna be movies past Dead Reckoning, but they're split up into multiple parts. Why not just call them
I
something
think
different?
I don't know, man. I know for the seventh Harry Potter, I know it was a bigger book, so they're like, okay, we'll split the book. We'll have the war in the back half,
Sure, but
or in like before the war in the first half.
that's stupid because wasn't Goblet of Fire like a huge book too? Like
The
way
Goblet of Fire is
bigger?
huge. Yeah, they did cut a lot in Goblet of Fire, though. To be fair,
Sure, yeah, exactly. A lot of good stuff. Monsters.
like stuff that like I care about, not that other people care about.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I think I care about the Newt stuff going on, and then like getting like freedom for the goblins.
They also cut a lot of stuff in Half Blood Prince, right? A lot of
They
like
did do
really
a lot
good
of
stuff
stuff.
that people are really upset about.
Half Blood Prince and Order of the Phoenix, they got a lot of cut stuff. But I mean, like definitely for the first three books, they did not cut as much. And the same with the movies, they
Right,
just
yeah,
kind
because
of.
I feel like there's been stories about I don't know how many books. Maybe it was just the first one I remember, but I definitely remember there being stories about how like they just like used like book one as the script. Like book one was the script for the movie. They didn't write a script.
I mean, they did cut Peeves, but Peeves is like barely in the books.
Sure.
He's interesting. Like, I understand if they had to cut a ghost, they could cut Peeves, even though he does have some stuff that is tangentially related, but never
Mhm.
actually doing stuff. He's just like a comedic effect character.
So we're readers. Would would that be fair to say, Ray? Both
Yeah,
of us
I
readers.
think he'd
Um, I know it's
be.
like a almost like a meme at this point, but have you ever watched a movie that was on par or better than the book?
Holes.
Okay, see, I wasn't expecting an answer. I wasn't expecting an answer at all, let alone a home run answer. Okay, the Holes movie is so good.
It matches the book. It can't be as good as the book, but it matches.
It's pretty close.
It almost captures the same essence, and
Dude,
it does a really good job of like getting
Stanley
it there.
Yelnats, dude. Um, that was good. You know what? You got me. You win. I wasn't
That's the
expecting an
one
answer.
thing that just came to because I was thinking about it for like this past week or whatever. I'm like, Holes really matches the book.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
Obviously, some stuff are cut, but I mean, like, come on, they don't cut anything too important or like it's like mostly extra stuff. Everything is like
Mm.
cut pretty well and straightforward.
How well? So now going into the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
How well do you think the Percy Jackson series is going to match the books? Because apparently they're
I think he's
doing.
gonna modernize it. I think some of the stuff they did in the movie, I'm gonna be honest, some of the stuff they did in the movie was good. Like I think the phone changes were good. The click pen is kind of cool. Like there's like little tiny stuff that you're like, yeah, that's still kind of keeping the heart of it. The casino change was pretty amazing.
Honestly, the whole pen thing. I know people got upset about that. I never understood how it worked in the books.
Well,
Because
because like
like
you kind of, I don't understand how you cap the pen. That's the thing I'm
exactly.
trying
Yeah, because well, like
to.
in my mind, I'm like, how big is the sword? Because like swords are
Mhm.
usually pretty big. Like, does he have to like bring the cap? You know
Or
what I
maybe when
mean?
he pulls the cap out, or maybe like it's a sheath, so when he sheaths the sword, it goes
Well,
back and goes.
well, no, no, no. Because my memory is not great. But my memory remembers the sword existing and him having to take the cap out and put the cap on the tip of the sword, and then it turns into
It's
a
the
pen, which to me never made sense because I was like, if it was a knife, that would make more because it's like boop. But like a sword, like swords are what, like a couple feet.
They're big, like 2 to 3 feet. You know, you got like a
You know how annoying that would be every time to do. Yeah, like exactly that. Like so like the pen, I was like, okay,
click pen's good, or like even like a twist pen. Come on.
twist pen, yeah. Um, yeah, I have high hopes. Not necessarily high expectations, but high hopes for that series because
I mean,
it's not
Riordan's really
movies.
trying to, because he's kind of jaded after the first two.
Yeah, sure.
So if he's happy with how they did it, then that's gonna be a sign that it's going good.
hmm
And then he wants it's gonna be a TV series now, right? Not like a movie.
TV series, and apparently, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I feel like it's been talked about. It's gonna be a season per book, so we're gonna get 5 seasons.
That's pretty, and then like we get to pick up characters that like like we missed the entire Clarice and Ares thing happening in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't get to see that happen in the movie.
Right.
I know you've seen the movie at least like once or twice, so I think you kind of
Yeah.
remember like that entire plot line is like cut from the movies entirely.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get to see much Luke either. He's like barely in it.
Luke is a huge character in like the entire
He's huge,
series.
and like they don't have him do as much as he like should have been doing.
Yeah.
You need a strong Luke for that, for like the to keep it going. And even Clarice has to be a sort of strong character as well. She has to be a kid that you look at and you're like, you hate her, but then you gotta be like, she's got some. She's like, I hate her, but she's right. You gotta have that.
Yeah,
type of
I hate
character.
her, but she's right, and I hate that she's right.
You gotta have that character be Clarice. So Clarice has to pull that same attitude, like, come on.
Mm-hmm. And then for her to get like redeemed in the way she does, right? Very cool stuff.
And obviously, like the god characters, some of them have to be stronger. Like Ares has to be a really strong character because he's gonna be coming back frequently. Dionysus has to be strong, like just like enough where you can see him be serious, but most of the time he has to be like chill. The guise of chill.
Something that pops up every now and again, right? We're talking about adaptations. We have The Last Avatar, Netflix show, right? It's happening still. One casting choice that I've completely come around on in a negative way. I feel like people always say, oh man, when they cast, well, okay, so there's two people. I feel like it's like the Boulder, but then a more accurate one would be the other guy with like the exploding forehead. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know his name. They're always like, dude, you should get Dwayne Johnson for that. It's perfect casting. And I feel like I don't like that anymore because I feel like they would cast The Rock for that and he would just be The Rock. And I'm like, that's not who that character is, you know?
It's like for both of those, like one, he would never take them because he can't lose.
That's true. Yeah, you can't lose. Yeah.
So he would never take it. But the Boulder, yeah, it was based on like obviously his persona of the Rock when he was like doing wrestling.
No, I disagree. I
but
feel
like
like
more flashy though.
What happened?
What was it? It's not like when the Rock was like, was he serious? How was he doing it?
No. So my disagreement was gonna be, I feel like the Boulder is more similar to like Randy Savage than the Rock. Right, like the whole like Macho Man, like ooh yeah, stuff like
Ooh yeah.
Yeah, like
the cream rises to the top.
I see Randy Savage more in the Boulder than I do the Rock, because like the Rock was like
you for 3 minutes, 3 minutes of playtime.
And then he has that like super like, he's like super like pro like gender equality or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, did your mom like sew that for you? She's like, hey man,
it's like, did your boyfriend make that for you?
Oh, your boyfriend, yeah, boyfriend. Did your boyfriend make that for you? Say, hey man, what? If I was gay, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. The Rock for me is an actor that I'm just over at this point.
It's like, there used to be like obviously early in his career when he was doing like the more like chill roles.
Hmm.
I'm looking at you, Tooth Fairy. That's honestly it.
Yeah, I mean,
Or like,
I
was he in Get Smart? I thought he was. Could be wrong on that.
was he in what?
Get Smart.
Get Smart. Was that the one with No, no. I think wasn't that the Will Ferrell Kevin Hart movie?
It may have been.
I don't think
A
The
lot of
Rock was
people
in
were in
that.
that movie. Get Smart.
My whole thing though is that I used to be a big defender of The Rock early on because they were like, "Oh, he plays the same character in every movie," and I feel like as it's gone on, I feel like he definitely does.
Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson in this movie.
He was in it. Okay,
So good. I can't be stopped. I got good.
you have The Rock knowledge. That's what you're known for.
Yeah, no, it was a fun movie. Okay, but like like I feel like he stopped doing these movies eventually at a certain point.
I mean, we're talking about Tom Cruise. I feel like The Rock wants to be Tom Cruise very bad. You know,
Tom Cruise is okay losing.
that's true.
He's okay coming in second place.
But like, the difference between him and Tom Cruise to me is that he just like they both kind of play this like the same character and everything. They're both like action stars, but The
Mm-hmm.
Rock, I feel like he has a very specific sense of humor that he insists on injecting into every movie he's in. And it's not that it's not funny, but it's like you don't have to do that. you know? Whereas Tom Cruise just kind of does his stuff, you know? So,
Okay, like obviously like the Mummy Returns, the Scorpion King. But to be fair, he was kind of winning in that movie the entire time. Like the game plan, come on, dude. I've seen the game plan like 3 times.
that was like a big like school movie. I feel like I watched that in school like a couple times.
Forgot he was in the Doom movie.
He would also want you to forget that he was in the Doom movie. He like actively hates talking about
Doesn't
that
like it,
role.
yeah. But Carl Urban kills it though, so I mean, what's
Carl Urban, yeah.
so good. Yeah, I was looking at yeah. Like you can definitely see like post like 2011, basically as soon as he got on Fast and Furious, like it's like, all right, now we're gonna go. It's here. Cause like 2010, he was in The Other Guys. Again, another like funny like buddy cop movie, even though he was cameoing in it. Come on.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, dude, we're going hard now. Like he still does his buddy action comedies, but like I think he's taking himself a bit more seriously now.
It's just like too sterile.
Like Hobbs and Shaw was like you watch Hobbs and Shaw, and then you're like Hobbs and Shaw are the same character.
Yeah.
Like Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson both can't lose any fights.
And they're both like quippy, you know?
Yeah,
It's like,
actually, has Jason Statham lost fights? Probably in some movies. Oh, it's been a while.
I mean,
Also,
I
what's
feel
up with like? It's for Hollywood, really, right? Like, why you can't lose fights because you want to stay a leading man.
no,
Because like,
that's just their own egos. Because they don't want to be seen. If The Rock's lost a fight in a movie, Hollywood wouldn't be like, we can't cast him in movies anymore. He's
mhm.
he's not good. It's like no, it's just his own ego. He doesn't want to be seen in like this blockbuster movie losing just because he doesn't want to.
I'm looking at like Jason Statham again. Like, he's done fun movies still. Like the Meg. Meg is like a fun movie,
Sure.
and they're gonna have the new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
The,
Megan.
the new Expendables movie's happening. I had no idea 50 was in this movie.
Everyone is in those movies.
It's actually called Expendables.
That's disgusting.
They just replaced the A with a 4.
Of course they did.
Sylvester Stallone says literally, like, I'm not doing any more Expendable movies, so this is just the last one. You'll never see me in these again.
He's like 90 years old.
But there's like, you can do more fun stuff. Just do more fun movies. I don't know, man. Like, I hate to say it, look at Brad Pitt. Just do fun movies.
Yeah.
Don't care what you're doing.
Be in an episode of Dave that gets really weird.
Be Christopher Lloyd. Be in a weird episode of NCIS because you can.
Yeah.
And take the terrors of war for the brief moment you're in that movie. For that episode. It's so weird. What is this, dude? 2020? Because apparently it was the Pearl Harbor episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I was on the harbor. He was in The Haunting Hour? R.L. Stein? Dude, Christopher Lloyd does not care. Put him in everything. He's gonna be in the Knuckles TV show?
It's a big day for you.
Dude, I didn't even know they were making a Knuckles TV show.
Yeah. Idris Elba, man.
Paramount Plus is gonna get so much of my money.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
You gonna give Paramount money for Knuckles?
Aren't you?
No. Not even a little bit. They should give me money. What are you...
Oh, that's right. Christopher Lloyd's gonna be in the Talking Mongoose movie.
Ah, yes. That one.
It's called Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose. Simon Pegg is the main character. I forgot they came out with a Spirit Halloween movie.
They did, yeah. That did happen.
Like he's just making movies, dude. Too much. There's too much here. I'm going through. I gotta stop myself. Watch Food Fight, everyone.
Okay. Well, we still have Megalobox.
Nomad.
I like this. This, I feel like this makes a lot of sense, right? Them to introduce this idea of new boxer, influenced by Joe and Yuri's fight. Now he wants to fight.
He's chasing shadows.
Yeah, exactly. That was cool. I like when they did spar, and it seemed like it was productive for both of them.
Yeah, Lou thinks the entire time he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm better than them," like at least at the start of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Joe's against the line, it's when Joe comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Gearless Joe, you gotta put him against the corner. It's like Big Joe moment.
Yeah.
It's like losing the fight with Yuri the entire time. Takes off the gear. It's a different story.
I do like when When the people on the side, they kind of saw that, right? Well, there was a
Mhm.
moment where like Joe flipped, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, Joe is getting into it.
Mhm.
Interesting. I feel like this is what he needs. You know, like the first half of this season, we've seen just Joe be awful to himself. Um, you know, he needs a purpose, you know, something productive. And so for him to like, for Lou to find him, I suppose, um, I feel like this is good. I don't know where it's going to lead to, but it's good. It's good for him.
Well, at least we get to see like so the matches between Lou and I forget the other guy's name, the other boxer.
Mac.
Mac. So like they're both here. I think it's like, do we know Mac from like season one?
I don't know because okay, so my initial answer would be no because they gave us a whole backstory about Mac. But then at the very end, Joe like looks at Mac and it like zooms in to give us the impression that like Joe knows Mac. And I'm just like I don't know this character. I mean, I know him from the backstory in the same episode, but I don't know if you guys have history. If you do, I don't remember it. I don't even know if it happened. Um, but yeah, the very end shot of this episode does give the impression that Joe knows him. Or knows of him at the very least.
Hmm. You have to rewatch a season one or try to skim just to see if he was in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Or just wait till
Or maybe
next
he
week. I'm
won't.
sure next week
Yeah.
we'll get that answer.
Like he looked at him, he glared, and he smiled.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Like
there's
he was trying to
something
figure
there.
out who he was, and he's like, "Oh, that's who he is."
Right. So maybe they faced each other at some
Maybe
point.
he's happy to see him. He's like that's Joe, Big Joe.
Ah, yes, his nickname, Big.
Nah, Big Joe. It's a little guy. Why do they call him Big Joe?
Big Joe. So that's the humor. You just don't understand comedy.
Was it this episode? We also get like basically everyone telling Sachio off a little bit. Like you're the one
Yeah.
who told him not to come back.
Yeah. Which again, man, I feel like they are gonna move to the point where they kind of come around to Joe. I don't think they should necessarily like all the way forgive what Joe did, but I think there's like somewhere in the middle that they can meet and understand why Joe was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, like you're like the way you can see it, we can see Joe's perspective. We can tell like obviously he values Sachio a lot,
Right.
so he doesn't want to hurt him. So he's like, I'm just not gonna do anything here. I'm just gonna leave and go.
And like even that moment last episode where one of the kids, I don't know, was like, oh, he thinks that he can just come back and be for, you know, like make up for everything he's done. It's like, well, no. Like, I honestly don't think Joe thinks that. I don't think Joe thinks that he deserves any of their forgiveness. But, you know, I think he still cares about them and he would like some sort of relationship with them. Some sort of working relationship to be like, hey, we're like still kind of family and it sucks what happened, but we can move on, you know. And we have to remember that they're still like kind of kids, you know, like they're not like 5 years old or whatever like they used
It's
to
like only
be.
like what,
But
like literally like 5 years just passed or something like that.
yeah, so like they're all still
Like,
kids, you know.
and he's only interacting really with the older ones. Like the younger ones are all like an orphanage or whatever,
Hmm.
or like at school.
I mean, even like Sacho, like Sacho's not like 30, you know. It's not like it's a grown adult that you're trying to, you know, like he's
Like
still,
16 or 17 or something
yeah,
like that.
he's like still a child, you know. So again, I'm not mad at them for thinking the way they do, but I don't think I don't think they should just like block him off and say no, we refuse. To all the goodwill that he showed, you know, like I I just don't I just don't think it's fair to think of Joe as this like traitor of after all they've been through to be like, oh, Joe was actually a bad person the whole time. It's just not true.
He even gets like Lou even knows that like the fight he got originally wasn't even him. He wasn't even fighting Joe. He understands that.
Mm-hmm.
And like he has a little. I like the little quote he has where he's like, "You and Yuri, you guys fought at your peak, and you guys feel satisfied. How can I feel satisfied after that?"
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, going down
Mm-hmm.
a very similar path, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You're like chasing that high, right?
Mm-hmm. Like Lou's just looking for someone to rival him, really. Someone who can match him.
Yeah, and Joe works especially good because that was like what birthed his love for
Mm-hmm.
boxing and wanted him to really be like a champion. And now Joe's here, and he fought him not at like 100%, both like physically
Mm-hmm.
and mentally. So he's like, no, that is not going to be my interaction with this man. I'm going to get more out of it.
It's like, you're gonna train me now.
You're going to train me. And Joe's like, listen, kid, I've already been through this with someone else. Me training you doesn't work well.
It's like, you got any kids? Any family? You're gonna die. So like, we gotta.
Any kids?
Anyone Joe trains with dies. It's actually
Yeah.
the truth of the matter. Train with Nando, dead. Train with Chief, dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
He's got
history.
100% casualty rate.
History tends to repeat itself.
You got a target on your back now. Did one transition, it's over. You're already on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want that. Who do you think's gonna win the fight? Lou and Mac.
Dude, honestly, I'd love if Mac won.
Yeah. Kind of like, put like a nice bow tie on his story, his like comeback story.
Yeah. I would love if Mac won. Especially when they described how he was boxing originally. He's like, yeah, I just got angry every time I boxed, so I just lost.
Mm-hmm.
He just became easy to read or whatever.
I feel like that
So
would
then they
also.
did the surgery on him. And they're like, yep, this pretty much fixes it.
Yeah. Give you new life. I feel like that would also very nicely set up a training arc for Lou, right? For him to lose this match, and then that kind
Give
of
him
role.
give him a little Rocky treatment.
Yeah, exactly. We have plenty of episodes to do it too. We're just about halfway, so
Yeah. A lot of, like 5 or 6 episodes left, right?
yeah. I don't know, an amount. I don't know, some number.
Build a gym, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely gonna be like the end goal for like Joe's character. By the end of the series, he's gonna have the gym built. That's gonna like symbolize, him coming back from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it for me for Nomad.
We can say the gym kind of parallels Joe a bit.
Yeah,
So as he builds up the gym, he's getting better.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see it, right? Joe. I mean, again, like that's why I really liked him sparring with Lou, because this was the first time we've seen him in a ring, like looking like he's having fun, rather than just surviving.
Before, yeah, but like we haven't seen him like enjoy the fight this much. He was more fighting to feel the pain.
Yeah.
Like it was like a punishment for him to do it.
Yeah.
Like he felt he was atoning in the ring.
It's like in The Dark Knight, when the Joker wants Batman to hit him on the motorcycle, and then Batman chickens out the last second and crashes his motorcycle.
Hit me. Hit me.
I want you to do it. It's like, all right, okay, freak. Yeah, but no, that's good. I like build himself back up. Very, very classic story.
Yeah, it's just a very different story going into it. I thought we would be seeing a lot of Chief, and then he just died. So now I'm like,
Yeah, I did too. I thought we're gonna ride that a little longer. You know,
mhm,
maybe him come up, and then the boxing world get like more
mhm.
official. Like it's like second wind. But then he died. And honestly, good riddance.
Yeah, and they gave him his gear too. Insane. That's free gear there. Yo,
That is crazy.
he's still holding on to it. He's not using it because it's Joe.
Yeah, right.
Mhm,
It's like, I refuse. Don't you understand? This is my thing.
mhm.
If I use gear, what do I have in this world?
Him using gear as Nomad.
Yeah.
That's different though.
Ah. No. You guys don't understand. Joe and Nomad, different people.
Like he was trying to physically separate himself from Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was so disheveled and not cleaned up. He's like, I'm a different person now. Can't be Joe.
I mean, back in those days, they also might not have even let him fight
Mhm.
without gear on. Be like, no, those are the rules. You have to.
Also, like, I'm pretty sure like he didn't want to be recognized as Joe.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man, another the second man in history to not use gear. What a coincidence.
And he's man, you could fight Joe. You're like pretty good. I don't think we've ever seen you and Joe in the same room.
He just throws a smoke bomb and leaves, but it's still super obvious.
He leaves, but then he boards onto an enemy ship.
Oh no. It stops them all from fighting.
It works every time.
So yeah. I feel like all these episodes very good, and also for the most part setting up very good next episodes.
Strong episode 7s.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anything else you got for me, Ray?
Kind of tangent low this week.
That's fine.
Got no big tangents. I can. Hololive came out with their third generation for EN.
Okay.
For any of the VTuber fanatics out there, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you hate Hololive, in which case that's not your cup of tea. It's info to drop, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sponsor any channels on here. The only channel you should watch is Tiger Tea.
Okay.
But if you were to watch them, I wouldn't say no.
Oh, not sponsored, but if you got
If you
the
were to
time,
watch it, though.
and if you want to use my promo code Rayman got you here.
If you would like drop like a bunch of gift memberships while I'm in the stream, so I can get a chance of getting one, that would be kind of cool. But
I would greatly appreciate it.
like you don't have to though. Just just message me when you're going to gift the membership, so I can be on at that time. Make sure you gift like 500 of them, so I get a pretty good chance of me getting them.
Yeah, 500, pretty good amount. I would say, not a lot. 500.
How much is 500 gift memberships? Huh? Like over $1,000. You're fine. Don't worry about that.
Can't believe this is what it's come to, Ray.
What are you talking about?
You becoming a shill.
I did say I only watch out of Tiger Tea. Only ever. What type of flavor is Tiger Tea? What does it taste like? Does it taste like tiger, or what's the connotation?
We're not doing it. I refuse.
How is Tiger teammate? I need to know the questions.
I am not
Are
yes-anding
deep
this.
in my mind.
I'm not doing it.
You're not. It's
No.
Tiger team. How is the teammate? How you brewing this? Are you boiling tigers alive?
Yes.
You're straining. They're usually squishing them.
Mm-hmm. You know how in
Like-
Looney Tunes when they would cook bugs in like the like comically large pot?
Yeah, you're doing that with tigers, and then you're like
Yeah.
draining it.
Yeah.
You're giving them like it's basically a big hot tub, and they're just like chilling in
Yeah.
it.
They're chilling. They're having a good time. Little do they know.
Are you eating the tigers, or are
No.
you just like? Okay,
not-
so there's they're having.
I'm not a freak, Ray. I'm just making tea. What do you? What kind of question is that?
grind their bones into jelly, and
Okay, see now I feel like we're doing some projecting, and you have to look inside yourself sometimes.
that was more of a Shrek call out really than anything else.
I still stand by what I said.
Okay. I don't want to say anything about tigers. You know, I just really was curious on the tiger team naming convention and how it comes across. Because like, if I come across the channel as a nobody, as I do normally, like, what is tiger tea? Is that a brand of tea? What flavor is this? It's like black tea. Is this green tea? I think you can really market this idea. Would it be black and green tea because it's kind of striped? You know what I'm saying? Is there even orange tea, or this could be kind of red tea? But then doesn't that red tea kind of goes back to black tea? So like, where are we really?
You're putting a lot of thought into this.
Nope.
No, actually, I'm not.
I have not put any thought into this. This is just the classic end of the episode shenanigan thing where I ramble on, but I find a coherent line of thought that actually makes some sense, but you still question it, and you're like, was this a premeditated bit, or did he just come up with some spot? How much of this did he write out, or like how much of this is just a falsehood? What does Rayman really do when he's coming up with these? Does he have like a list of them and he's like making notes on them? He's like, this one was a hit, this is a success, or he's like, this is terrible, we're never doing this ever again, I'm never bringing this bit back up. It's crazy stuff, you know.
So thank you everyone for listening today. I don't have anything to add. Ray's trying to gaslight me about the tea that I made. That's it. For audio listeners, Ray's being really weird right now. I don't know what's going on.
You didn't get this podcast anywhere. You get your podcasts.
Just like out of the blue, just do like a super canned like plug at the end for no reason.
I'm gonna go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, which I view the podcast on quite a bit. I'm at least one of the views every week.
Big fan, huh?
Nope.
Wow. Oof. That hurts.
A huge fan.
Oh, okay. Saved it.
Recovery. I write that one down as a note.